COVID-19 is showing up differently in some children.
So children, our immune system is almost more immature in a way and starting to learn things more. And that's the reason it responds differently sometimes.
Our 9 Health expert, Dr. Pyle Coley, will explain how the virus could be manifesting symptoms in kids. And it's Rockies opening day. They are in Texas today. Show us your Rockies pride and we'll share some of your pictures throughout the morning.
And I'm Matt Renew in Silverthorne, where there is a lot of building going on these days, but one place is building using shipping containers. We'll tell you about a very unique boutique hotel that's being built when we ship that story out, coming up on 9 News.
As we inch closer to the fall school semester, more districts are finalizing their plans. Jeffco Schools says that it will join DPS in offering remote-only learning for the first 2 weeks. We posted this on the 9 News Facebook page, and we got a lot of comments, more than 500 of you commenting. Many of you just don't see the point. Others want their school districts to follow lead. Chris on Facebook says, no one will be happy with any decision. Sheena says kids are getting shorted of their education. And she wonders what the future is going to look like. It is a very fluid situation, and we're asking you, will 2 weeks of remote-only learning impact your family positively, negatively, or maybe no impact? Let us know. You can vote now on the 9 News app. Almost 200 votes this morning. Most of you saying no impact, but we're going to break down the plan and also what you're saying this morning as well in just a couple minutes. For now, we want to say good morning. Thanks for joining us. Natasha here with Gary, Kylie, and Becky. Happy Friday, guys. We made it.
Happy Friday to you. Yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Sounds like it'll be a decent one, and it's a one when we get to watch baseball for a change. How about that?
Yes.
Yay!
Yay! Becky's ready. She's got a purple on.
I do have my purple on. You guys know I love me some baseball, so I am ready for that to start.
Well done. Hey, and we do have a pretty good looking weekend, just a few storm chances in there, but that's pretty typical for summer. Right now, we're looking live outside in downtown Denver, and it's a beautiful start to your morning. Partly cloudy skies. We do have mild temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s in some spots. And for today, low 90s here in Denver. I've got Denver at about 91 degrees, 60s and 70s in the mountains. Already seeing that monsoonal moisture up in the high country. We're going to see quite a bit of it by later on this afternoon and this evening. Look for those light showers to get going right about midday, and then a few rounds of showers and thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon and the evening. Severe weather threat is to our east today, but coming up in just a few, we're going to talk much more about what you can expect through the weekend.
We've had some problem spots show up on our drive. This still seems to be in place. You can kind of see the flashing lights there on the ramp. That's southbound I-25 getting onto northbound 225. We've had an accident reported on that ramp that certainly could cause some delays, especially as we see some more folks get out and about on that highway. We zoom into that area on our traffic maps, and so far it looks okay. Hopefully it stays that way. We can get that accident cleared before traffic picks up too much. We do have another accident reported at Sheridan and the Boulder Turnpike. That might be causing some minor delays for us. And then this crash that was at Peoria and Broncos Parkway has been cleared. Let's take a look at drive times. From downtown to the Tech Center, we've got speeds that are close to 70 miles per hour. That's both north and southbound. Despite that accident, that's a 13 to 14 minute drive. Eastbound and westbound along I-70 also looks good in that stretch between I-25 and 225. That drive will take you 8 minutes.
One of the 2 STEM school shooting suspects will be sentenced at 9:30 this morning. Alec McKinney was originally scheduled to be sentenced back in May, but the proceeding was delayed because of the pandemic. The 16-year-old STEM school Highlands Ranch student pleaded guilty in February to 17 charges, including first-degree murder in the death of Kendrick Castillo. The other 19-year-old suspect pleaded not guilty. His trial is expected to start in September.
All right, Liz, thanks. We're going to see more marches today through Denver. This time, restaurant workers. They say that they're going to be out on the streets calling for some help. Eddie Randall's in Denver this morning. Eddie, the march coming just days before extra money from unemployment is set to run out.
That's right, Gary, and that's what so many restaurant workers and people who have filed unemployment are concerned about. And so restaurant workers are going to have a mock funeral procession that's going to start at the Colorado Department of Labor and end at Senator Cory Gardner's office. They say they want their message heard, saying, "We feed you, don't let us starve." And they're speaking directly to Senator Cory Gardner and Congress, and they're hoping that they extend the $600 a week federal unemployment assistance, which is scheduled to expire on July 31st. Restaurant workers and several organizations are going to participate in today's event, and organizers say this is a preview of what they feel will happen if the federal unemployment money is not extended. And the idea came from people who have lived and experienced losing their jobs through this pandemic. They say the additional funding has allowed them to just get by, and they want Senator Gardner and others to take that into consideration.
I would like for his response to be to talk to his colleagues in the Senate and the House and get them to realize the severity of this and extend the $600 per week for everyone. I don't need him to say some flowery words. I need him to come to the table and craft legislation that will actually help people.
So the mock funeral procession is going to start at noon. It's going to end at Senator Cory Gardner's office. And, you know, the person you just heard from, Daniel Grosso, said that they're going to be hearing from a lot of people who have lost their jobs. They'll also be speaking directly to people who have had to file unemployment over the past several months. So, you know, this procession is going to start at noon. Gary, it's going to be interesting to see how Cory Gardner's office responds to today's events.
All right, we'll be waiting to hear. Thank you much for that. So some Republicans are promising $1 trillion solution to all of this. Will be out next week. The plan could include direct payments to people, a second round of business loans, a limit on Medicare premiums, and temporary employment help. But not all Republicans are on board with the plan, and they haven't even started negotiating with Democrats yet. The U.S. has surpassed 4 million cases of COVID-19, more than 1,000 deaths happening a day, the number of new cases of COVID rising in Colorado. The state has already added more than 600 cases just on Wednesday. We're averaging more than 500 new cases for the past week. 2 children in Colorado have died from a disease linked to COVID-19. It is called multi-system inflammatory syndrome, or MISC. You're going to hear more about it. Our 9 Health expert says the rare illness can cause immune system overdrive and lead to fever, rash, diarrhea, organ failure, and death. The Air Force Academy cadets are going to be headed back to campus by the end of the month. The Academy announced its plan to test cadets the first day they return, then a week later, then 10 days after that, then 2 weeks later. After that, they say they'll randomly test cadets to try and find asymptomatic cases. The Air Force says it'll be flying 700-pound personnel protective equipment from Project Cure to a rural Colorado hospital out in Walsenburg.
The second biggest school district in the state will join Denver Public Schools in starting the school year online. And we want to know what you think about that. Will 2 weeks of remote learning impact you positively, negatively, maybe no impact at all? You can vote now on the 9 News app or 9news.com/vote now. Here's how it's going to work. Jeffco Public Schools says all students will learn remotely for the first 2 weeks. The new plan includes full in-person learning for elementary students. After that, older grades will do a hybrid of remote and in-person learning to limit their time in the building. The district says those 2 weeks will give staff time to talk about expectations and procedures with students.
We'll also be able to bring in smaller groups of students to test some of the practices that we are proposing, and we're not all doing that on the first day of school en masse.
The district says plans will remain flexible. The proposal includes rapid COVID-19 testing for staff and improvements to the ventilation systems in buildings. A mask would also be required. We have a full list of what districts have decided so far, and tomorrow Douglas County Schools has a special board meeting to go over its plan. And right now we're asking, how will the move to start remote only impact your family? Positive, negative, no impact. Almost 230 of you have voted this morning, and most of you are saying no impact, 67%. That is trailed by negatively, which is 27%. We're going to leave this poll running all morning for you to vote. 9news.com/vote now.
It is 6:38. Here are national headlines. This is the news in 90. Michael Cohen, the president's former lawyer, will likely walk out of prison today. A judge ordered Cohen's release Thursday to home confinement, saying the government retaliated against him for planning to release a book criticizing President Trump before the November election. U.S. leaders will evict consulate workers living in a compound near the Chinese consulate in Houston today. The move comes after the Trump administration announced the closing of the consulate. Chinese Foreign Ministry is condemning the move. Congressman John Lewis will lie in state at the United States Capitol Rotunda on Monday. An invitation-only arrival ceremony will be followed by public viewing Monday and Tuesday. Representative Lewis died last Friday after a 6-month battle with cancer. He was 80 years old. Other news now, Washington's NFL team will go by the name Washington's football team, for now anyway. It'll serve as a placeholder until the franchise decides on an official name. The team is working to remove all traces of the Redskins name from the logo before the season opener in September. And play ball, the Rockies in Arlington, Texas this morning ahead of tonight's delayed season opener. This will be the first game of the team since MLB decided to go ahead with a 60-game season. There will be no fans in the seats this year. Tonight's game 6:05. That is your news in 90.
Well, the one thing you do know about your weather for today, we've got some good rain headed your way, which I don't know about you guys, but my garden is very excited about that. And I'm also excited about that because of our drought conditions across the state. We get an update every Thursday. So here's the latest one from the U.S. Drought Monitor. As you can see, almost the entire state is dealing with at least dry conditions, if not extreme to close to exceptional drought conditions there. So we'll talk more about the rain headed your way in just a few.
Now time for some news that can keep you safe, sane, and entertained. It's called In Other News. COVID-19 is coming to the small screen. Producers for Grey's Anatomy say that they're working on incorporating the pandemic into the show's 17th season. The show's executive producer isn't giving away too much, except to say that the characters will be forced to deal with life and death situations the way the doctors are dealing with it right now. Most of us are saying so long to those pricey gym memberships. A survey from TD Ameritrade shows 59% of us don't plan to renew memberships when the pandemic ends. Most said that they'd been able to find more affordable ways to work out since the pandemic had forced them to do so. We all know that feeling of betrayal that comes when your partner sneaks the latest episode of a TV show without you. For some, that's not as bad as what one lover can do. Look at this. A new survey out from one poll shows 1 in 10 adults consider grabbing McDonald's without their partner as bad as cheating. Seriously? In fact, out of the 1,000 people surveyed, 1 in 20 said that they'd break up with their better half for this. Are you kidding? Okay, so Gary, I love McDonald's, but I don't think it's breakup worthy.
Yeah, me neither. I don't quite understand that.
Maybe Chick-fil-A. Maybe, but yeah, this is nuts.
Yeah, I have to think about that. I might agree with that.
Chick-fil-A is good, yeah.
Okay, all right, well, there you go. Hey, we are all about the Rockies today. It's the team's season opener tonight, as we mentioned. Not here at Coors Field, they're in Texas today, but we're sending out our love through our phones. You can text us your Rockies Pride picks now at 303-871-1491, and we will share.
And I'm at Renew in Silverthorne, where a new hotel is being built that, just like the last package you had delivered to your house, will let you experience what it's like to stay in a shipping container. We'll be delivering that story coming up on 9 News.